To military power. Joining us from Los Angeles is Dr. Leonard Peikoff, the founder of the Ayn Rand Institute. So, Doctor, I understand that if the U.S. does go in with heavy-duty air power and all kinds of things like this, and civilians get killed, you're not so worried about that.
I'm absolutely not concerned with innocent people in the enemy territory. If they get killed, that is the responsibility of their government for initiating aggression against us. In any war, when you fight the enemy, you have to take anyone in that territory and regard him as part of the enemy. Otherwise, you can't defend yourself. If you're concerned with the innocents in those countries, you are pulling your punches and thereby jeopardizing the innocents in our countries. It's either or. If you believe in self-defense, you fight it to the full.
If they were to adopt your philosophy, the Bush administration, and go in and just level a country, which wouldn't take much, I mean, it's not a sophisticated country, you could level that place in probably a day. The rest of the Islamic world would probably rise up. You know, you'd see the dead babies and all of that. And we would be fighting then all of the hundreds of millions of Muslims across the world. It seems to me that that might be a war we don't want to get into.
I don't think Afghanistan should be the primary battle place at all.
But answer the question,
desire to get Bin Laden.
If they did, if they did what you suggest.
Yes, if we hit the right country, which is Iran, and with the full effective force of the United States and unseated the Iranian government and made clear the principle why I say you would terrify the terrorists, governments in the rest of the Middle East,
what if you're
and you
wrong?
would not have the
What
problem.
if you're wrong? What if you ignite a global
What if 2 and 2 isn't 4?
What?
You don't ignite a global conflict by exterminating an enemy that's trying to exterminate you. Otherwise, you can say, I'm afraid of the repercussions of defending myself.
Well, look,
so
there are
I'll
ways
sit there
to
and
do
let
it.
the terrorists unleash germ warfare and chemical warfare and nuclear warfare on us. That's what's coming next, is the survival of this country. So either you say we're going to fight and we're not going to worry about the reaction, and the very fact that the United States is the only superpower, if it doesn't stand up and take over the worst country there, which is Iran, the source of this maniacal Islamic fundamentalist movement, if we don't do that, our name is mud and we deserve what we get.
All right, but Doctor, I mean, I am telling you that if the United States attacked Iran, that you would then run the risk of alienating all our friends, so-called friends in the Middle East, which we depend on oil. Well, we depend on them for oil, and you would ignite a jihad, a holy war, and get into a world war. See, I think you could do it surgically.
There's nobody that would dare take on the United States if they thought that the United States would stand up for what it believes in. But because the United States has been a paper tiger for 50 years now toward the Mideast, they have total contempt for us. So they have to learn, like any bully that has been getting away with murder and having the victim turn the other cheek and cower in fear, they have to learn that we will stand up. Other than that, we are destroyed as a country.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think you might be overstating it. I think that we can go about this.
Overstate the threat of people who destroy the World Trade Towers?
Well, listen, I think we can get those people, and I think we can dismantle the governments that are unfriendly to us and harbor these terrorists without igniting a world war.
Well,
and I think we can do it. I think it's doable. I think it's doable.
You can dismantle all the governments. I'm not saying you have to use nuclear weapons. I'm saying we have a moral right to use nuclear or any other weapons that is considered by the military the most effective. I'm a civilian. I don't recommend strategy. I say to the military this: you have a moral right and a moral obligation to decide what course of battle is going to achieve a decisive American victory as fast as possible and with the fewest American casualties. If that includes nuclear weapons, you decide, because only you, the military, know what the cost of those weapons are, what the effects of spreading irradiation, etc.
You can't, look, we're not run by military here. We're run by civilians, thank God. We have a civilian government. We can't be ceding. Doctor, hold it, time out, take a breath. Okay. We can't be ceding our republic to the military. I mean, we tell them what to do. That's why you have a civilian commander-in-chief.
Tell them what to do as policy, but do you mean we're going to vote on where to point the guns?
No, look, your commander-in-chief tells the military exactly what to do and where to do it, and that's the way it should be.
You asked Mr. Bush to pick the weaponry that we're going to use?
Well, absolutely, and he'll decide by his defense secretary and the State Department people.
Excuse me, wars are conducted where the policy is set by the administration, the political and strategic goal. The weaponry, what it is, has to be properly decided by the generals in the field.
No, you're crazy.
The White House.
You sound like Dr. Strangelove, Doctor.
No,
what are you, Dr. Strangelove out there?
If the White House takes it over and hampers them, you're just talking about Vietnam again.
No,
you're talking about crippling ourselves for political reasons.
Doctor, another breath. You remember General Curtis LeMay? He wanted to use nuclear weapons in North Vietnam. Come on. Come on.
We should never have been in North Vietnam.
What?
Don't tell me we shouldn't do it. We should never have been in North Vietnam, and we should not be focusing on
You don't let the military dictate which weapons you use. They go by the Defense Department and the Pentagon. They're told what to do, and they do it. But one last question, Doctor.
Who know what they're doing. Yes.
I'm not.
Which the people in Washington don't.
I'm not a person who is easily dissuaded from justice, but I don't want to see women and children in Afghanistan slaughtered by bombs. I don't want to see that.
That's the last resort for me. You're going to see women and children in New York slaughtered by bombs, and that's your only choice.
But no, it's not the only choice. There's another way to do it.
Already.
If that other way doesn't work, then I might go your way. But I try the other way.
Tell me another way that hasn't been tried for 50 years.
The surgical overthrow of that government and the methodical hunting down of bin Laden.
What difference does it make if the Taliban is overthrown when the source of the whole movement is in Iran?
Well, that's step one. We'll deal with Iran, but we deal with them in a very methodical and a way.
Let's have pity for Afghanistan and take on Iran.
I got to run. Thanks very much. When we come back, I don't know how to make this transition. The Miss America pageant was right.